And welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I'm your host, Dougie Almeida, coming to you live from Simpsonville, South Carolina, where I'm blending in. Great day today. Boy, we have so much going on in the political world. And, I don't like to usually do politics and stuff, but sometimes you just can't help it. Even before the show, I posted something on another comics post, and they got all riled up because I didn't see their way. And it's funny, when you try to be funny back, and they don't like it when you're making fun of their guy. Don't make fun of my guy. Well, I got the guy who's here that's probably the funniest person to make fun of that guy. Welcome today's guest, Steve Mudflap McGrew, everybody.
Oh, hey, how are you?
Yeah. Before the show, I was talking about a Facebook post I just posted, and I don't need to mention the comic who it is, because I think the guy's great. I've always been friends with him, but you never know when an ideological difference may cause some sort of more, someone's going to go out of their way to affect your life because they don't like what you said. But he's 79 years old. Yeah. I don't think thank God, but he's 79 years old. Of course, he fell off his bike. You ghouls, because we know when Trump was president, there was no ghouls on the other side
at all.
Yeah. Why are they making him ride a bike anyway? Well, because they know he's fucking losing it, right? And they want to make him look like he's doing something. Look at this fucking idiot. Look at him. Hey, economy's great. It's Putin's fault. Oop, that's Putin's fault. That's Putin's fault that he fucking fell.
Well, isn't it weird how he veered off from the rest of them? Like it's like, oh, there's a little girl over there. Bonk.
Yeah. He saw a little girl on an ice cream cone and he was distracted. Listen, God bless this comic, because it is the funny part I want to say, because he goes, why are they making him ride a bike anyway? It's like hearing Dianne Feinstein was hurt in a trapeze accident. Well, no, I think Dianne Feinstein's an older lady. That trapeze, being on a trapeze, unless you're a professional trapeze artist, would be difficult.
Hence the word artist.
Yes. And riding a bike, which, by the way, I think Biden did say when Trump was president that running the government is like riding a bike. Running this country is like riding a bike. Well, we all just saw how well he's running the country and riding his fucking bike. And, to the comic who I posted this stuff about, I'm sure he's not going to be watching this podcast. But, hey.
I bet he does.
Maybe this time. It's just like, you can make, if you're going to put something out there, and especially, it's a bit ghouls, you're referring to people as ghouls that are making fun of him falling off the bike. And again, it's just, years of the other way around it, and to react in any other way but supportive and tolerant of it just shows signs of a hierarchy in this you know what I mean? So it's like, on the business aspect, if somebody says, well, that person may not work with you, well, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of work out there. If I'm talking to anybody about that, I'm talking to you, my friend. But regardless, there's plenty of fucking work out there, regardless of what somebody doesn't like your ideological beliefs, right?
Well, it's kind of sad, and you're hitting the nail right on the head, is that so many of the clubs, as I'm doing the clubs, are the liberal shitholes of, they don't want you to come in and have a different opinion. We can't hire you because the other local comics said they wouldn't work if you were on a show. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's, I mean, listen, it's just disgusting. The good thing is that, some people are starting to turn. Some people are like, look, we were duped. I mean, we understand, I'm like, how bad does it got to get before you'll finally say that this fucking guy was not good for us? Forget about listen, I voted for Trump over fucking Hillary. That was my choice. If you voted for Biden over Trump and you had a reason, good for you. Just admit you fucked up. Okay. Just admit that, you fucked up. There's the guy who was in Breaking Bad's like, just pay the high gas prices. It's capitalism, asshole. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's that guy's? I saw that the other day. He was like, yeah, it's defending it. Well, you're rich. You're rich.
Yeah. He's not concerned about the trucker who's using diesel fuel.
Well, the guy right before, right before we recorded this, my sprinkler had broke. The pipe snapped, and the guy was out, and we were just talking, and he goes, it just cost me $130 to fill up my fucking truck to get here. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to raise my prices. And I'm like, well, not yet, not yet. You know.
Yeah.
But that's what
Isn't there like
normal people are thinking. You know.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's just the idea of making excuses for this guy. We just posted the story that more and more, actually, there are more and more Democrats now. There's a poll that poll Biden disapproval hits new high in America. Americans say they would vote for Trump over Biden. I mean, how bad does Biden have to be where people say that didn't like Trump would vote for him again?
Right.
And
or
listen,
how bad is your Trump derangement syndrome that high prices aren't affecting you in any way? Like, I don't mind paying more for food. I don't mind paying more for gas. I don't care. It does. His hate isn't being spewed anymore.
Yeah. Just everybody else's now. Instead of having one person be, now we're all fucking hateful. It's just horrible. It's just horrible. And I said this, the only good thing about it is it's kind of like when you have a comic that says, I'm funnier than you, I'm going to go on stage. I'm funnier than you, let me prove it. And then they go on stage and eat a big dick. Right.
I love that.
Right. And now it's like, so Biden's eating a big dick, and it's not only ruining his, because he's not going to be doing anything after this, besides wiping his shit on a bathroom wall somewhere. But, after that, so when this is done, what it also has, it's crippled the Democratic Party. It's actually affected any type of real true balance, because now everything's going to be like pushed onto the other side. And I'll say this as a Republican, that, in all due honesty, I don't know if I'd want Trump to run either. I'd rather have a DeSantis or somebody like that. Now, the question would be, would liberals, if it's DeSantis, are they going to just, because they've hated him already, right? They already, they
already hate DeSantis because the state, Florida, is like kicking everybody's ass.
Yeah. Yeah. And, so is it ever going to be, if it, like, in other words, there's going to be hate on one side if it's not their person. Like, I don't know if we've seen hate now that Biden's been, I don't see a lot of Republicans hating on the world, you know what I mean? Hating on people that like Biden. We're just looking at them like, when are you going to fucking, you know what I mean? We're not like, oh,
Well, we look at them as like, when are you going to wake up? When are you going to snap back to reality? But then you have to, but when you look at Twitter or TikTok or any of the, especially libs of TikTok, have you ever seen any of their stuff? And it's people like, it's the religious right that's causing high gas prices.
Yeah. It's everybody else.
And you have to realize these people are angry their entire life. They're not you and me. They're not normal. They've been mad ever since they got hit in the face with a dodgeball. Their entire life has sucked. And if you look at like group pictures of who's protesting out in front of the Supreme Court, you go, that's the island of misfit fucking toys. that's all that is. That's not normal people acting like they're pulling dead babies out of their underwear,
These are the people. These are the guys that never got picked to the Sadie Hawkins dance. These are the ladies who didn't make the cheerleader squad, right?
Right.
These are all these people that have always found, like, perhaps from afar wanted to be but couldn't. And and it's all, to me, it's always the same thing. These are critics. These are the typical critics and armchair quarterbacks. These are the people, the hindsight Hindus, that they always think they know better. They say, oh, we would have handled it different. Oh, this would have been this way. This was wrong. You shouldn't have done that. Well, what should we have done? I have no idea. But nevertheless, this was wrong.
Right. I mean,
I see that.
I was going to say, I feel like it's the same. What's happening with politics is what was happening with the comedy in the 80s and 90s, where the really unfunny people were in charge. So they were booking their unfunny friends who told them how funny they were. So they moved up the chain because, they're at the Luna Club every night. So next thing you know, they got a guest spot on late night because their friend who sucked said they were really good. You know what I mean? It's like they all failed upwards until they're
Yeah.
sitting on the January 6th committee.
Yeah.
That's like an open
You,
mic night. If you look at that panel, it looks like an open mic night of like,
oh,
that now's my chance to shine.
yeah. With a worthless hearing, that, to try to get from one point to the other. It's interesting. I do find it interesting that when you read that and everything that was happening and stuff, and to me, it's like, well, look, at the same, to me, it's interesting. It's both sides, right? We had the Russian collusion hoax, which we know Hillary and the FBI were weaponized and all that kind of shit. Anybody who's not judgmental can see what happened on that, right? We had two impeachment hearings, hindering a president through a pandemic. And all this shit, even through all that, still keeping things going well, and keeping the world balanced through all that horse shit. And now, why wouldn't other politicians on the other side be a little more like, what can we do here? And again, just because there's no evidence of a crime doesn't mean a crime wasn't committed. It just has not yet been discovered. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? 10 or 20 years will be interesting at what we find out about what happened in 2020.
Really comes out.
Yeah, when things start, and who knows? I don't know. It just seemed really odd. Just and it's not far fetched to believe the hatred for Trump wouldn't cause some chicanery, or chicanery, as they say. Who knows?
Yeah.
And I think the government can be very powerful.
What I don't understand is how, and I think more and more people are waking up to this and getting upset about it. Is the two sides of the law. Like nothing ever happens to the Democrats.
Right.
The FBI doesn't kick in their door and arrest them at 4 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think they're starting to see that. Like Adam Schiff, for how long did he say, I have proof? I have proof. I have proof. Yeah. And we will prove. No, you have no proof, but yet you're not arrested. And now the other day, he was talking about the January 6th, about having proof, but he doesn't want to get ahead of the hearing. Like, fucker, you already lied for over 4 years, and you're not in jail. Well, here's where I was going with this. I'm back in Facebook jail right now because I said, why don't we arrest these people, put them in jail, and work it out in court like we would with normal people? I'm in Facebook jail because they said that was harassment. I was harassing because I used the names Adam Schiff, Hillary Clinton. Then I like, why don't we arrest them? And I targeted harassment. Isn't any political figure just fair game for a discussion like that?
You would think so. Even like if you're an actor or an actress, you're in a movie, you're in a play, you have critics that are going to comment on whether you do well or not. It's amazing to me that listen, the hypocrisy is amazing. We have Attorney General Merrick Garland in Ukraine right now, supposedly going to help get some advice to Ukraine about war crimes. Meanwhile, they're going to say, "What was your experience handling war crimes?" Well, I did get a bunch of parents on the FBI's watch list because they were not happy about CRT, something we're dealing with over there, and there's some young kids in school that were thinking about getting them expelled because if they don't use the he, her, or she, or them, we're going to ruin their young lives in high school and in middle school and elementary schools because we expect 6-year-olds and 5-year-olds who didn't know the difference between sexuality. And when somebody we don't expect the 6-year-old to know their sex, but we do expect their schoolmate to know what their sex is and to be able to respect it all and do that all while they're going through their own shit. That's what we expect. That's right.
Yeah. Well, I just want to go, screw you and your pronouns. I'm not playing along with your insanity because it's your insanity, not mine. I want to be called this. Good for you. I'm not doing it. But then, you know what I mean? What happened to me? That's the way it is in America. Some people might call you, go along with it. I'm not. Why are you forcing everybody? Like you said, kids don't have any idea. They have no idea.
Yeah. Let the kids are trying to go through all kinds of learning experiences. You know what I mean? And the thing is, we got to be tolerant of them. You have to be tolerant of their mistakes, and you don't just come crushing down on this because it's important. It's more important to ruin the lives of 90% of the majority of children to protect the 2-3% of the minority that you're trying to protect their feelings.
Well, it's the chaos. It's the chaos. They need the chaos.
Yeah.
That's what they're putting.
Yeah.
You know, when you lose the minority vote, when blacks, Hispanics, Asians are all voting more toward Republicans, you have to find a new victim group. So you have to create. This
Right.
wasn't around 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
They've created this to have chaos.
I don't know if you saw it, but even Hillary Clinton herself, she said that the transgender issue was a big issue, but she recently just said it's really not what we should be focusing on, you know. And it isn't, you know. I mean, these kids need counseling and all kinds of shit, and God bless, you know, it's got to be a traumatic thing to go through. Anybody who's going through this, but you know, that's theirs. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, we got
But
fucking,
here's
we
what I'm
got,
afraid of. It's just fashionable. That's what I'm afraid of because we pushed it so big. And TikTok, you can become a celebrity if you say, I'm about to transition. Oh, I'm follower. You get all this
yeah.
exposure. And I'm afraid, like 4 or 5 years from now, when they go, well, I'm not getting the likes and video shares that I used to. Maybe I shouldn't have cut this off. You know,
There's definitely going to be a lot of buyer's remorse when it comes to sex change operations.
buyer's
You know what I mean?
remorse.
No, I mean, it's not, you know, it's not like it's even much worse than getting a tattoo. You know,
Right.
my nephew would transition and stuff, you know, and it was like, you know, I can only imagine. And you know, you feel for them because you want them to like anybody, you want a human being to find comfort, love, and understanding about, like, to know oneself is to know God, right? Even Shakespeare said, know thyself. You have to, you know, that's where things begin. And so, you know,
Yeah.
that's got to be done. But I mean, that's not easy for anybody. Now, it's not like, when I was 5 years old, I'm like, oh, I'm going to fucking be a comic and be a financial guy. I got everything figured out. Why? Because I'm white. That's why I'm white. You know, no, none of that shit happened easily. So it's a big fucking craziness going on.
Well, both
But there was,
as
go ahead.
as you and I know, as you get older, you realize that life is nothing but a series of mistakes that you live through.
Yeah,
Like it's not like it's good. All like I made the right choice there. Boy, that was the good.
yeah,
I'm glad I listened to that car salesman.
yeah, yeah.
And I think a lot of these younger kids, they're young and they're not experiencing hardships at all. So life is just going to slap them in the dick or
Oh, yeah.
not a dick.
Yeah, yeah, they're going to get slapped in their gap. I whatever it is, you're right, and you're right. You know what? Listen, you're exactly right. If you don't know how to deal with adversity, and then you have to, the older you get, the adversity only multiplies to its level of detriment. So
Right.
if you're going into that world, like, I mean, that's why you have, listen, the beginning of this is when we started seeing athletes and Olympic athletes starting to break down, and I'm having a mental breakdown. It's not that it's inexcusable. It happens. Listen, I've been at professional level athletes. I've been in high, you as a producer, as a performer, but that's the difference. That's why not everybody can walk on the moon. That's why you have that level. But now what you're seeing is these people don't have these coping mechanisms because everything's been handed. Everything's been there. Everything's right there. You know, I worked with Steve Trevino this week, and he mentioned something great. He goes, when his actor says, it meant my kid wants, he wants Nikes. That's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to want something,
Yeah.
to really, like, that's something I really want. Well, good. You got to work for it. You can't just be
Go
given it, because
for it.
then you don't understand want.
Yeah.
There's no achievement. There's no,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
there's no
it's
feeling.
like back in the day when those of us that had, we didn't get the car handed to us. You're in high school. I remember your friend would have like, hey, the baker's son got a Porsche. I'm driving a $500 piece of shit, but I
Yeah.
wax it every day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm armor all in the cracking seats. I'm taking care of this bitch because I bought it.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
While
Right.
while
I had
they're
a,
while
I had a,
they're squealing the tires on the daddy's car.
yeah. I had a Buick Buick Skylark station wagon where the floorboard was rusted out. And if you threw something in the back seat, I'd make sure you got it out of there and threw it out, asshole. Meanwhile, my buddy's driving a brand new, Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
and not taking
That's
care of it.
Yeah. Well, this particular friend I'm talking about did. He, his father was pretty stern, but so I
Oh,
guess
okay.
there
But
there
you
are
know what
levels.
I'm
But
talking about. The people
yeah,
that just didn't treat the car right because they didn't pay for it.
yeah,
Daddy will buy me new tires. Daddy will fix
yeah.
the transmission.
No true appreciation, and the only way that you're going to appreciate is by striving for and like you said, failing, you know. And it's like I came from a have not family, so by the time I started making money in my 20s, I bought a Corvette. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, and then I realized, oh, fucking $1,500 for a brake job. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? you know, I'm gonna go buy that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go back and buy a Celica.
we all want that until you realize, what the extra cost that comes along. You don't realize that, Then you're
Yeah,
like, I'm okay with a Toyota Corolla getting 32 miles to a gallon.
yeah, yeah. I'm okay with adjusting the seat myself in the car. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. I
I
don't
can
need a
fucking
Land
roll up
Rover
window.
that the one windshield wiper is $110.
No shit. Exactly. I fucking had an Audi A8L, big beautiful car, and they brought it in for service, $2,800. I'm like, motherfucker. You got a
Yeah,
Breitling watch or a Rolex watch, beautiful watch, 1050. Yeah, it's a dick extender, hey baby. But every
yeah,
few years you got to send it in for service for $1,000.
yeah. Where
Yeah,
I paid,
I could buy.
$12 for a Timex, and it tells time just like a Rolex.
Yeah, I don't even use a fucking car. You have my phone. So yeah, unbelievable. But there was some justice this past week where the scales, and it couldn't have happened to a better person. But Late Show with Stephen Colbert staffers, including Robert Smigel, arrested at the U.S. Capitol. For supposedly, and of course, they got in and they weren't supposed to be in there. So at least they were arrested. There was some justice, right?
Right, but have you seen the people taking up for them? Like, when you were saying they were in there illegally. They were asked to leave.
Right.
They came back in. They weren't being escorted. They basically, and they were charged with the exact same charges as the
Right.
January 6 people. But the people
Right.
that are taken up, like, they were there to film a comedy skit, not overthrow the government. You're like, are you
Hmm.
that stupid? Are you just not paying attention to the facts,
Yeah.
or you not care?
Yeah. When I stabbed the person, I wasn't trying to kill them. I was only trying to see how far my knife can go in without killing them.
Yeah,
See,
it
that's a
was it was a
different thing.
comedy sketch.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
called "Kill." I'm killing it in comedy.
Yeah. And, we didn't knock on those particular Republican doors, congressmen's doors, interrupting, yeah. And, listen, in all admission, law is the law. I was going to be a lawyer. So there is a law. If you break the law, you break the law. The intensity of how you were going to break the law is not judged. It's the fact whether or not you broke the law or not. But we know that, Smeagol's not going to be in a solitary confinement with fucking, with the dog with,
For you to poop on.
yeah, I'll have him here to poop on.
Triumph the insult dog.
Triumph.
Yeah, that's
That's fucking funny though.
that puppet needs to be in Gitmo. That some of the January 6 people are still locked up, but the puppet gets
Yeah.
to go home. That's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a funny bit. They show hit the puppet in fucking Gitmo. I'm being waterboarded. It was just a comedy skit. It was just a comedy skit. I am not a revolutionary. Oh fuck. Yeah. Well, at any rate,
But
here we
then
go.
then Colbert comes on and makes a joke about it. Like
Yeah.
it was first degree puppetry. We're being charged with first degree puppetry or whatever he said. It's not a joke, dude. You were in the Capitol illegal, just like everybody else. Don't laugh it off. Or my dad, as my dad would say, I'll slap that smile right off your face.
Exactly. I mean, is anybody even watching Colbert? I mean, the numbers came out on the news and CNN are lower than it's ever been, and that kind of shit. I'm just wondering if Gutfeld is still beating Colbert on the late night. That's pretty embarrassing.
I just saw that Gutfeld is beating like everybody, which it is good and bad at the same time because I'm glad that it is, and conservatives are getting some type of show. But at the same time, I'm like, I wish I liked the show.
Yeah.
I want to like it. I'm never going to get on the show if I keep talking. But that's what I
know.
mean.
I know exactly.
It ought to
I know.
be. It's the same people over and over. It's the
Yeah,
same guests. It's like, at least look around. There's conservative
yeah,
comics out here. There's guys that could actually do something besides, you know, oh, we've got the woman from the Fox and Friends again tonight. Boy, she was
yeah.
hysterical last night, wasn't she?
Yeah, wasn't she? Yeah, I mean, my friend Jim Florentine's been on that show a couple of times, and so often. The skits they do, the recording, the videos they do are horrible. Whoever writes them's got to be fired.
Oh,
Because
especially
those
the
are,
one that Cat Tiff does
ugh,
I'm supposed to be a liberal in a green wig. Oh,
yeah, just again, I'm sure there's much better conservative comics out there that can fill that spot that would work for cheap.
right. But it makes us look bad because I
Yeah,
will see stuff. People will write. Now we know why conservatives aren't funny. No, we're fucking hysterical if we
yeah,
got the chance.
yeah. Get us out of this box. Um, yeah. You're right. No, you're right. And I agree. And you know what? And here's the thing. I told somebody recently as a joke. I'm like, you watch Fox? I go, I can't watch Fox. They're like, why? Because of the programming. It's all this. I go, no, because I just can't stand the My Pillow guy commercials. I mean, they're fucking killing me. The poor guy. This is your last chance to get my slippers. Will you be the best slippers you've ever bought?
Yeah,
Um,
I'm knocking them down. They were $69.95, and today they're $4.
yeah.
Please save
This
me.
this king size pillow used to be $3,485, but today for you it's going to be $29.99
Yeah, and
with
since
my
they're kicking me
patented
out of
fill.
Walmart, it's all on sale.
Yeah. I mean, this poor guy. I mean, if anybody went too far, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I
I
feel,
I love the fact that he's donating 1 million pillows to Ukraine. Yeah, because he couldn't sell the fuckers.
yeah, they're still in the fucking back room.
I got a write off. I got a write off.
Next thing you know, you're going to see a bunch of Ukrainian soldiers hitting the fucking Russians with fucking these hard ass pillows. Knock you the fuck out.
Well, maybe
This is
that's
the
what that
hardest.
war should turn into. Just a
Yeah,
giant
big pillow
My
fight.
Pillow fight.
Exactly.
Just charge.
Yeah. Winner takes all, baby. Winner takes all.
Yeah,
So
just think about it. The Russian bomber comes over, drops My Pillows, boo, 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 boo.
Yeah.
Just kind of a soft pillow attack.
Yeah, exactly. No, they're going to be dropping their pillows, but we're going to, those pillows are hard as rocks, man. So, the Ukrainians won the war because of the secret of the My Pillow guy. That's right. They wore the slippers.
I was thinking about this the other day. I was at the airport, and I'm sure you've seen it. The Russian coffee company, Gasbog.
Mm.
You know about?
I heard of it.
Well, yeah, it's big here in Denver. I mean, there's and how does a company all of a sudden go, my God, Russia, stop! You're killing my business. Because a lot of people aren't going to be like, I'd really like some Russian. The way they're tearing up those Ukraine people, I'd really like a cup of their coffee.
Yeah, nothing better to go over with war crimes and rape and pillaging than a nice big glass of Russian coffee. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Before we blow up Florida and Texas with our nuclear arsenal, we like to have a cup of the Russian coffee.
This Gasbog is delicious. What's Gasbog mean? It means run for your life.
Yes, it's like, you're fucked. Gasbog in Russian means you're fucked. Yeah. So listen, we all hope it works out. And, to my liberal friends out there, God bless you. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you why did you vote for who you did. I get you and all that shit, but just own up. Listen, I love that. Well, they say there's inflation all over the globe. I go, yeah, but each country has a different layer of inflation based on how well their economy was placed for it. Like I will say this, as a licensed guy, I'll tell you, we're in a different situation than we were in 2008. People aren't underwater in their homes. Most people have a huge amount of equity in their homes. A lot of people with their mortgages are not in variable rate mortgages. You'd be a complete fucking moron if you bought a variable rate mortgage when the rates were 3%. How much lower could it fucking go? And, so there's a different aspect, right? And it'll be interesting. We still got some things to see with this economy, but as long as it stays shitty through November, so we can get these fucking putts out of office, in Congress and the Senate, in the House, I should say. So the one thing they are talking about are these gun laws, and the one thing I found interesting was these red flag laws. And
Oh
one of
yeah.
the things they're having a problem with is the boyfriend clause, which, could you imagine? Listen, right, especially after seeing the Johnny Depp, Amanda Heard trial, you know, all somebody has to do now is my boyfriend tried to shoot me with a gun. Next thing you know, you got the FBI at your house confiscating all your fucking weapons because some fucking dumb bitch who doesn't like you going to strip clubs when she's away, probably banging a
Yeah.
pilot, or something. But she's going to get mad at you and have all your guns confiscated because she tells you you're a bad guy.
Well, that's the Dougie clause. I think that's what that is. When you're out on the road and I don't know what you're doing, and well,
Yeah.
here's what I said about it is because even on Twitter, I mean, look at if you posted something like to that comic that we were talking about at the start of the show that you make fun of, okay, they're pissed off at you. They report you as being crazy. I think he's crazy. Have you seen some of his? They come and they take your guns away while they investigate you. You never get them back. And now the liberal that reported you is like, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's all that it is.
Well, that liberal needs to know that even without a gun, my sword or knives will be a lot more damaging and take a little longer to carve you up as I come get you. Now this is going to be banned.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's unconstitutional. It is, the whole idea of it, and to be doing that, and and again, it's this. Who is to say? There's no trust. There's no trust to be able to say if somebody says this, then they're going to follow it and confiscate based on the word of another. There's no proof.
Right.
Prove it.
No due process.
Yeah, there's no due process in this. As long as it fits the narrative, you could say, "Oh, my liberal girlfriend, I woke up and she put, acid on my nuts and she put poison in my fucking coffee." And then the guy was, "Oh, did you vote for Trump?" Well, no, you probably deserved it. You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck.
Right.
Right. It just went, "Oh, they're okay. I'm sure I understand why she did it, asshole." Well, fuck, dude. Well, you know what? I pushed her. You're going to fucking jail, asshole. You pushed her.
Well, I'm worried about this country ever being united again. I mean, in any way, shape, or form, especially when you keep hearing newscasters talking about we can't judge each other equally. You can't assume their views are the same. I don't know if you've heard that Don Lemon and some of the guys were talking about that. You cannot view their opinion as the same as ours. Well, you can't come together if you can't see, like, okay, I see what you're saying, but I disagree. I'll give you that, but what about this? But if you just flat out go, we cannot give their opinion the same weight.
Yeah, no. Listen, it's a hierarchy. It's an elitist type thing. It's it's disgusting, and those are that's a bad thing that can happen. And I think the last of the topics today, it all boils down to this fact that Americans' belief in God sees drastic drops since 2016. I'd hate to say this is in the scripture, but in Revelations, in Ezekiel, and some of those chapters, I think that was the New Testament. Remember, is that the Old Testament? That was the Old Testament.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember
any of those
either.
weird names like that were usually in the Old Testament.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
According to Jebediah.
Yeah, but less people believe in God. And I remember reading stories about this when I was maybe 10 years old and stuff, and some of these things I would read, like, how is that possible? Because 15, 20 years ago, 95% of our population believed in God. Now you're looking at somewhere around 85% or somewhere between the ages, and younger people even less.
Well, I blame social media on that, of allowing people to say there is no God and push the no God narrative and taking God out of everything. Where young people learn about God is from Daddy's belt. That's where you actually like, Jesus, save me from this man. You want to meet Jesus? I'll introduce you to Jesus.
Yeah. None of that's happening. Parents are too scared to discipline their kids. And listen, that's why I said this to somebody about, somebody was having this debate with me about how a elementary school child should be able to make the choice of changing their sex, regardless of what the parent thinks. And the parents, so I said, okay, here's what I think we should do, right? For every parent that allows their 5-year-old, 6, whatever age, like that, allow them to transition. That same parent should also allow that same child to hold a health surrogate. In other words, if something happened to mom and she was out,
Yeah.
that same 5-year-old can then be the health surrogate of that mom and sign off on a DNR. So if you're so
Right.
comfortable in their decision-making process, that
About
child should
health.
also be given health surrogacy and also power of attorney on your finances. So if they're
Your
if that
mom
if
just
they're
had a
that
heart attack. What do you want us to do? Yeah, let her go.
she's old, she's 42 years old, let her go.
She's
She's lived
42.
a
She's
good
about
life.
done anyway.
Yeah, I'm about to fit in her dresses anyway. Um, you know,
Okay, son.
it's the absurdity. I said to somebody says that's not even close. I go, no, you don't even get it. That's the absurdity that if you think a person at that age can really knows what's best for them, then you are also saying they know what's best for someone else. Because that's what logic is. That's what intelligence and wisdom is. It's not just set in yourself and then is absent when it has anybody else or any other topic involved. It's the
Right.
ability to make decisions and determine and weigh in a due diligence of information before you make a decision. So if you think it's great for that child, then that child should also be given power of attorney and health surrogate powers over the parents, and they can use it at their whim at any point.
Well, here's what you're thinking. The what's that? Leah, Thompson or was the guy swimmer?
Yeah.
Just got banned from the world swimming thing or whatever. But they're
Yeah.
saying but you have to transition before 12, which they're pushing, they're saying get it done early.
Get it done.
If you look, if you get it done when you're 5, then you can be a chick swimmer. So again, it goes back to that. Well, wait, how about just not at all? How about
How about I thought I read an article that, if that's the case, you should have, if it's becoming that rampant, and it is more and more, I have a friend who's a school teacher, and she said, homosexuality is no longer something you're born with. These people are starting to choose it because they see it's like they're almost inspired by it. Like it's a new way to be different. It's a new way to be,
get likes and views.
Exactly. It's that need for attention, right? And that's causing people to make these decisions in a sense. So even with that, right? I mean, you're having more of it. So if it becomes that rampant, guess what? Have a league, have a male league, have a female, and have a non-binary sporting. So that way, women who are men can compete, and men who are women can compete, and they all compete against each other.
Well, Caitlyn Jenner said the other day, she thought it was, they should have their own category, like male swimmer, female swimmer, trans or whatever. I'm paraphrasing because I'm there, but the other person goes, but who would they swim against? Because there's not there's full teams.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They should be competing by themselves, in the water. And now at a record-breaking time, finishing first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth,
is Leah Thompson. Well, I just feel bad. I don't know if you saw this. There's a new group called Gays Against Groomers. Have you heard about that?
No. Gays Against Groomers.
Gays Against Groomers. It's a group of they're gay, but they don't believe that they should be part of this whole the drag queen situation. Should not be part of what their struggle is.
Right.
The person that started the group. You could look it up. They're saying any normal adult sees that this is wrong for a child, whether you're straight or gay. Having a drag queen at a story hour is not right.
Yeah.
Because drag queen is it's sexual. It's the whole thing is based on, being sexual. And
right.
And so they're trying to, this group is trying to distance themselves from the rest of them. It used to just be, LB, what was it? LBG or LBQ or whatever it was. And then it became the TRVQI plus, and they're like, wait a minute, you're not part of us. No.
Yeah, they're all jumping in.
That's what this group is saying.
It's like when they try to for medicines, for boner pills, they try to say, oh, and by the way, it also helps PE. Guys like, no, I don't have a problem with PE, man. I just have a problem with getting my dick hard. Well, you're okay with that, but not coming early. Well, you know what? It's time for the news is a joke, everybody. This is where me and Steve will talk about stories and make fun of them as quick as much as we possibly can. That's right. Let me see if I didn't screw this up here.
Nobody even knows what that sound means anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know if you knew this. This is scientific news. But in a pinch, you might be able to breathe through your ass. Says here that they boy, you thought it was hard to have a fresh breath before.
Those new
You
Tic
know?
Tac enemas are awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you mind shoving that Tic Tac up my ass before I take a breath? uh, they scrubbed the colons, I guess, of pigs and shit like that, and they found out when they put oxygen in there that it actually went into their bloodstream. So I don't know how often you're going to be able to have your bowels scrubbed so that you can breathe out of your ass, but it's good to know that someday if you got you got somebody's choking you, hold on a second.
So they would just move your mask to your asshole.
Yes.
They just, like if your face was jacked up in an accident, they would just put the oxygen mask over your butthole, or they would use like those what was those douche nozzles that your mom used to have, with the holes in the end of it. They just put oxygen and shove that up your ass, and you're like,
But it's amazing.
I can breathe now.
It's amazing because you remember there was a movie called The Deep or something like that. I remember where you had to learn how to breathe in oxygen that was a liquid form, so that your lungs wouldn't collapse at a very far depth. And that's actually being trained by military. The Navy is training that kind of stuff. But that's what they would do. They would shove this big fucking this I don't know, like a Gatorade of air, up your ass, and then you wouldn't have to breathe. You would just the oxygen would be like going through your asshole and up into your system, and you're like, I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm doing it, and then it really bad. Oh, I got to shit. I got to take a shit now. Hold on, I can't breathe. I'm gonna shit. But that's amazing. I just find it. All the things that we're going through.
Well, a lot of people have been talking out of their ass for years, so obviously air can come in and out.
And now just breathe through it. Oh fuck. Oh my god. What the fuck? I got an article here. Yeah, of course, it's not going to let me do this shit. It says an article of oh, there you go. Thank you. Walking on hot coals, company event goes wrong. They have these corporate building things. Okay, what are we going to do? A lifeboat thing. We're all going to do this, or we're going to have like the the thing where you fall and they catch you. That kind of shit. Teamwork, teamwork.
Building.
All of a sudden, some guy says, "This is what we're going to do. We're going to walk across the cove." Tony Robbins would do that shit. They had that. I think some of his fucking things that had people. They used to have people breaking boards. I had a buddy of mine that went to a fucking Tony Robbins thing. I punched a board. And I go, yeah, so does my 6-year-old kid in karate class, you fucking moron. Especially when they freeze the boards and they put a thing through it so you can cut it. So you buy a book from Tony Robbins. I'm invincible. In the immortal words of Bruce Lee, boards don't hit back.
Did he really say that?
Yeah, in Enter the Dragon, Bolo, the big Chinese guy, he throws up a board and picks it, or was it the American guy that just fought? And Bruce Lee is like, he's looking at him like Bruce is like, boards don't hit back.
Wow, you do a great Bruce Lee.
Yes, be water, my friend. Be water. Water can crash or it can flow.
Thank you, Kato.
Fucking hell. Yeah, so they said let's have fire coals, and like 20 people got their feet all fucked up. You know what I mean? Now the company has to get Indeed to hire new people. That could be a good Indeed. Could you ever see those Indeed? The company Indeed.
We need new employees. Indeed.
Yes.
Well, isn't there some kind of magic
fucking foot? Yeah,
isn't there some kind of magic trick that coal walking anyway Wasn't there some kind of like you walked on wet grass before you walked on the fire? I mean, there was some kind of. It wasn't just, hey, let's walk on hot coals. There was some kind of trick to it.
Well, the trick is walk fast. You can't like take slow steps. Number one, when you walk, it's got to be, it's one foot's leaving, the other one's in the air. You have to hopping like and yeah, and sometimes you could put like you get like cold water on your feet, so it kind of takes away the first few steps. But yeah, that's a funny Indeed commercial. We just lost 8 people at the company picnic. We need Indeed we do, and we need a new and we need a new meeting director.
And you see an ambulance over there bandaging up feet,
Oh, my fucking farts.
You know what's hysterical is while we're recording this, my wife right now is at one of these team building. That's where they're meeting for a dinner and a thing for like a bowling alley for a team thing.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. It says here, I'm reading the thing that your wife's company. And after bowling, we're going to be walking across fiery coals and dodging paint bullets shot by a guy with an Uzi dressed like a banger, a gangbanger.
Turned out he was real.
Yeah, the guy got here late. The actor got here late. They're supposed to be fake bullets. Fucking. Federal hogs find and destroy cocaine worth $22,000 hidden in the woods.
Now is that federal or feral?
Feral hogs, yeah, they were. Does that mean they're horny?
A federal hog is
is Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it says here a stash of cocaine worth $22,000 hidden in an Italian forest by a gang of suspected drug dealers. Well, who else would it be? Were reportedly destroyed by wild boars, and then later on, those same wild boars were depressed for 3 weeks. All those hogs, their wives left them, and they lost their jobs. Police dismantled a smuggling operation in Tuscany after placing a wiretap, and they, yeah.
What is suspected drug dealer? That's just one of those things that the journalist has to say. It can't just say drug dealers who know suspected. Yeah.
See, the guy was standing on the corner like this. He's a suspected drug dealer. That guy. You know what I mean? The guy's
the guy licking his teeth.
The guy won't stop. The guy won't shut up. Hey, how you guys doing today? You doing good? You doing good? Yeah, me too. I'm pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy. My wife's paying. I don't know. I like going away sometimes. I like ice cream and shit. What are you going to do?
That sounds like firsthand knowledge.
No, not at all. No, listen, I admit I had my days, but that was the easiest drug on earth to quit for me. Out of all the drugs I've ever taken, that was the easiest one that was to me to quit. And then our next story, I don't know what the hell happened to my computer here. Hold on. Everything, all my stories I pulled up are fucked up. So, all right, this is fucking great. Roughly 40% of single Japanese men in their 20s have never been on a date. Oh, so lonely.
I'm so lonely. I love me long time.
Yeah. I have a play with my egg roll all day. I wish your parents were okay with having a daughter once in a while.
Does it say why they've never been on a date? Are they losers? Or are they just
they all look alike? The girl's like, I don't know if I want to date the guy with the dark hair or the dark hair.
What does Japanese Tinder look like?
I mean, yeah. Swipe a right,
nope,
swipe a left. Nope. Oh wait, he smiled. Hold on, he okay?
Swipe a left or swipe a rice?
Oh, now we're banned.
That's it. I'm in trouble.
On the Tuesday, the Japanese government released a new white paper on the gender equality. The wide-ranging study presented large variety of data about men and women in Japan. One statistic that men with shock is that, according to the study, roughly 40% of unmarried Japanese men in their 20s have never been on a single date, but they got forearms like Popeye. I mean, let's see.
But one day they'll blow a load like Hiroshima.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell was that? Oh, Juan Lu finally jerk off. He finally bust a nut. I gotta bust a nut. I can't hold it no more. Everybody here called Peter North now. We all call. Why did they call me Peter North? Oh, it says here.
I want to know what the real problem is. I mean, is it lack of women? Is it lack of confidence? Is it they don't know how to work the dating app? I mean, what is the actual reason that this many Japanese men have not gone on a first date?
It says it's not due to their shyness, because Japanese people are very shy. You want to see my wiener? Japanese society is very group oriented, and that often extends to social life. There's so many, especially younger members, because there are so many occasions society and group settings break away. They do a lot of shit together. You know, let's all go here. Let's all go there. Is this a date? No, there's 80 of us, you asshole.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've said that about American dating scene. I don't think young people in America actually know how to date anymore. When you know, my wife, as you know, is much younger than me, and part of it was being treated like a real woman. You know, like you say, hey, would you like to go to a dinner and a movie, instead of like, wow, you didn't ask me to come over for beer and play video games. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't understand what actually a date means. It means you go one-on-one somewhere and have a discussion. What are you looking for in life? And what do you know, it's not just, hey, me and my buddies are going to go throw some bean bags at a hole. You want to go with us?
Yeah. Sounds like fun. Yeah. So listen, I think if you're a single, I think the purpose, the good thing about the story is if you're a single, somewhat maybe homely looking woman here in the States, and you're tired of being catfished or being not left behind, and just go to Japan for a few weeks. There's plenty of young men there that are ready to let loose.
Yeah, and you're a 10 in Japan.
That's right. That's right. In North Carolina, you're a farm animal, but in Japan, you're Bo Derek.
Bovine Derek.
Perfect. That's so fucking funny. Well, we got through it. That's all we have time for on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I want to thank Steve McGrew for joining me, buddy. Just like that, we went right through this.
I love doing this with you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We got to do it more often, and we've had a lot of I still have the the video. We still top views on our clips. If you've never gone to, go to our YouTube channel, Wake Up Late with Dougie show, and go to just the clip. And we have some great videos in there of Occupado, a story of a man getting run over by a tractor. We had people that were mad. I can't believe you're making fun of this guy. He died. He goes, yeah, he got run over in a fucking porta potty.
Porta potty.
In a porta potty. Yes.
Did you? Before we go, did you see that the guy? I can't remember his name. Rowan Atkins, the Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
He spoke out and finally, like, cancel culture has got to stop. Comedy always has a victim. That's what, and I've said that for years. Comedy, a punchline is making fun of something. And this whole younger generation is like, you're making fun of some. Yes, that's where jokes come from. That is the basis of humor. You fall in a hole, I laugh at your ass.
Yeah, my friend Steve Marshall, a comic out of New York, says part of being an American is you have to agree to be made fun of, because we make fun of everybody, and there's certain groups of folks that don't want to be made fun of. Well, guess what? That's not how it works in this country. We all have thick skins. We all should have thick skins. We're all supposed to be tolerant and understanding, and you know what I mean, and have a fucking, and have fun. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. It's, I'm not doing the hokey pokey, but I'm just telling you that, and here's the thing, Steve, I really do see a change. I don't know about you, but on the road, I'm starting to see You know what I mean? That you're starting to see that where people are like realizing that, enough's enough. Right. I
Yeah.
think that's the change. What we're starting to see now is people are recognizing all this woke bullshit, is like with everything else I got to deal with as a human being. Why am I so concerned about that? Why the fuck? You know what I mean? I said this to a young kid. We were talking, a good friend of mine asked me to talk to their kid. He's like 14, 15, and going over life and how to do money and stuff. And I said, listen, I go, I don't know why the world is trying to tell you how you need to speak to millions and millions of other people. It's telling you what you need to say so you don't offend millions and millions of other people. That is an Olympian task, a Herculean task that cannot be done. What needs to be done is you yourself have to be tolerant of other people and less judgmental. And if somebody says something that offends you, just fucking realize they may not have said it. And if they did mean it, they're just passing by. You don't fucking have to hang out with that person. You could, if you don't like the way somebody says something or always talks to you, don't fucking hang around them. Don't invite them to the birthday party. That's the way life is.
What I hate about the whole cancel culture, wokeism, is it's getting rid of individualism. Like, you have to think this way. You have to be this way. You have to consider everything this way. Like, that's not making you be like wildly creative. That's not making you think outside the box. That's like putting you in the box. That's what I think is so bad about it. Because every one of these woke people that thinks they're special all look exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They all have that fucking look on their face.
They do. They got color hair, they've got pierced noses, and they've got neck tattoos or whatever. You know what I mean? You're not being creative because all you did was conform.
Yeah. But I do think, let's hope, because it seems like we've been on that slide, every generation does less and does less in that sense of the parenting aspect. You know what I mean? And okay, you can't discipline the kid. Well, we stopped disciplining the kids. What happened? Well, they thought they were fucking brilliant and they thought they could punch us and push us around. They didn't respect parents and they did whatever the fuck they wanted to do. And now, they're raising people, they're raising new children and a new generation. And that generation, my battery's running dead. I should have changed my fucking thing. my laptop's about to go. So I got to make sure we.
What I was going to say real quick is like what you were saying is every generation has gone less. They were disrespectful then, or every group of parents thought their kid was. Well, yes, with each one you've chiseled away. I was thinking about each one you've slightly chiseled. Well, yeah, for 100 years ago they thought their kids were so chisel. At some point there's nothing left to chisel, and it all breaks.
Yeah.
So so you said big deal. Yeah, kids rebelled 100 years ago. Yes, but at some point it has to this shit stops because you can't chisel away everything.
Nothing left but a mass mob of shit. And that's all we have time for. Thanks again to Steve for joining me today. We will be back either next week. I definitely think we'll have a show next week. Maybe Steve will come back and we'll get back into it and get banned by other comedy clubs and piss off other liberal comics. That's it, gentlemen. Thanks so much. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Wake Up Dougie. Follow us on Instagram at the Wake Up Late with Dougie Show. Go to our subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Wake Up Late with Dougie Show, and go to our fan page on Facebook. We make sure we need more subscribers and more people. Share the word. Have fun, whether you like us or not. Thank you. God bless. And speak up. Say what you want. Just don't be hurtful and harmful to other people. Take care. We'll see you next time here at the same spot.
Wake up. Wake up.